Hello everyone, welcome back to Knit Crow Addict channel. Today I'm gonna show you how to crochet an easy cardigan. This cardigan is super comfy and easy to make. I have 3 written pattern including women sizes. Extra small go up to XXL. It's available on our blog. If you prefer the PDF printable version, it's available for purchase on our Etsy, Ravelry, and Lovecraft. I'm gonna put all the links in the description below. And for today's tutorial, I'm gonna show you in size small, which is the one that I'm wearing right now. I hope you enjoy and let's get started. For this project, I use yarn bee from Hobby Lobby, cotton DK in color brush. This is 100% cotton. This is number 3 lightweight DK yarn. In each ball it have 235 yards. For size small, I use about 1,180 yards. I just use a little bit over 5 balls. If you want to substitute yarn, just look for number 3 lightweight DK yarn and check the gauge before you start. But I highly recommend using this yarn. It have kinda unique feel to it. And I use 4mm crochet hook. You need scissors, yarn needle, 4 stitch marker, and this is optional. I use 5 buttons. This is 1-inch button. And you might need like a sewing needle or small yarn needle to sew the button into the cardigan as well if you're gonna use the buttons. Alright, let's talk about the crochet cardigan pattern a little bit. For this cardigan, we're gonna make in 5 separate pieces and sew them together. And after that, we're gonna crochet around the collar edge and then add the buttons. Okay, and after that, we are done. Super easy. So we have 1 back panel, 2 front panels are made exactly the same, and 2 sleeve panels make exactly the same. Okay, and after we have all the panels, we're gonna lay them like this. Then we're gonna sew the shoulder seam and then sew the sleeve into the main panel here. Then we're gonna fold it in half. And then we're gonna sew the side seam all the way up until the armpit and then sew the sleeve side seam all the way down till the end. Super easy. And then we're gonna crochet around the collar edge and add the buttons. The measurement for size small is 24 inches body width across, and the length it is 23.23 inches. Alright, let's get started. Okay, we're gonna make the back panel first. Make slip knot. And then I'm gonna make 91 chain loosely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 88, 89, 90, and 91. Now I have 91 chains. Row 1 is gonna be the right side. For an odd number row, it's gonna be the right side. I'm gonna make half double crochet into the second chain from the hook and into each chain across. So I yarn over hook, skip the first chain, insert the hook into the next chain. I like to insert my hook into the little bump on the back of the chain. You don't have to do that, totally up to you. And then I yarn over hook, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. That is my first half double crochet on row 1. And then half double crochet into the next chain. Half double crochet into the next chain. Half double crochet into the next chain. And half double crochet into the next chain. Alright, I'm gonna keep making half double crochet into each chain across, and I will be back when I'm at the end of row 1. At the end of row 1, I have a total of 90 half double crochet stitches across. Row 2, chain 1 and turn, or you can turn first and chain, doesn't matter, and the chain 1 never count as a stitch. And we're gonna make half double crochet into each stitch across. And make half double crochet into the first stitch here, half double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch. I hope the yarn is not that difficult to see. Hope you can see. It's very easy, just make half double crochet into each stitch across. Alright, I'm gonna keep doing that until I reach the end of row 2. At the end of row 2, I have the same 90 half double crochet stitches across. Row 3 to row 61, I'm gonna repeat row 2. It's super easy. If you want shorter, make less row. If you want longer, make more row. I'm gonna show you a little bit on row 3. Just repeat row 2. We chain 1 and turn. The chain 1 never count as a stitch. Then we're gonna make half double crochet into each stitch across. I make the first half double crochet into the first stitch here, half double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch. It's super easy. Okay, I'm gonna keep repeating row 2 until I reach the end of row 61, and I will be back. Good luck. I'm at the end of row 61, and I went ahead and cut the yarn, and after that I pull my yarn out. You just need to leave a little bit of tail, just enough to weave in the end later. And here's what it looks like. It's really big. Okay, next we're gonna make the front panels. For the front panels, we're gonna make 2 exactly the same. I already made 1 panel. Here's what it looks like. And at the end, I leave a long tail. Okay, first make slip knot. And then make 38 chains loosely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 36, 37, and 38. Now I have 38 chains. Row 1. Again, row 1 is the right side. For an odd number row, is the right side. I'm gonna make half double crochet into the second chain from the hook and into each chain across. Yarn over hook, skip the first chain, insert the hook into the next chain. Again, I like to insert my hook into the little bump on the back of the chain. And then yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. That is my first half double crochet on row 1. And then half double crochet into the next chain, half double crochet into the next chain, half double crochet into the next chain. Alright, keep making half double crochet into each chain across. At the end of row 1, I have a total of 37 half double crochet stitches across. Row 2, chain 1 and turn. The chain 1 never count as a stitch. Then we're gonna make half double crochet into each stitch across. It's kind of the same pattern as the back panel, but we just start with less chain. Okay. Keep making half double crochet into each stitch across. At the end of row 2, I have the same 37 half double crochet stitches across. For row 3 to row 61, I'm gonna repeat row 2. And whatever the amount of row that you make for the back panel, make sure that the front panel, you're gonna have the same amount of rows, okay? So for me, the back panel, I have 61 rows. For the front panel, I should have 61 rows. Okay, I'm gonna show you a little bit on row 3. I chain 1 and turn, just repeat row 2. We make half double crochet into each stitch across. I'm gonna keep repeating row 2 until I reach the end of row 61, and I will be back. I'm at the end of row 61. Here's what it looks like. It's pretty big, pretty long. Okay, next you're gonna cut a yarn and leave about 16 to 20 inches long tail. We're gonna use that tail to sew the front and the back panel together at the shoulder seam. So I cut my yarn here, leave a long tail, and then pull the yarn out. And I'm done with the front panels. You need to make 2 of these exactly the same. Leave a long tail exactly the same. And next, we're gonna make the sleeve. For the sleeve, we're gonna make 2 exactly the same. We're gonna start with the ribbing part here. And then we turn, and then we're gonna crochet the sleeve part this way, up. The row that we make gonna be the length of the sleeve. Okay, we're gonna start with the ribbing part. We make a slip knot. Then chain 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This chain will be the length of the ribbing. Row 1. Make 1 single crochet into the second chain from the hook and then into each chain across. So I skip the first chain and then insert the hook into the second chain. Yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. That is my first single crochet on row 1. Then make single crochet into the next chain, single crochet into the next chain, single crochet into the next chain. Keep making 1 single crochet into each chain across. At the end of row 1, I have 8 single crochet stitches across. Row 2, chain 1 and turn. The chain 1 never count as a stitch. And then we're gonna make 1 single crochet into each back loop until we have 1 stitch left. And then for the last stitch, I'm gonna insert my hook into both loops. So after we chain 1 and turn, insert the hook into the back loop of the first stitch there. Yarn over, pull up a loop and make single crochet. And then single crochet into the next back loop. 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 And single crochet into the next back loop. And for the last stitch, we're gonna insert the hook into both loops and then make single crochet. Alright, at the end of row 2, I have the same 8 single crochet stitches across. Row 3 to row 30, we're gonna repeat row 2, and every row you're gonna have the same amount of these stitches. I'm gonna show you one more row, which is row 3. We chain 1 and turn, and then make 1 single crochet into each back loop across. But for the last stitch, we're gonna insert the hook into both loops and make the last single crochet. Okay, here's the last stitch. I'm gonna insert my hook into both loops and make the last single crochet. At the end of row 3, I have the same 8 single crochet stitches across. Alright, I'm gonna keep repeating row 2 until I reach the end of row 30, and I will be back. Okay, now I have 30 rows for my ribbing. This is the end of row 30. And next, we're gonna crochet the sleeve. To do that, we're gonna turn the ribbing sideways like this. Then we're gonna crochet into the end of each row of the ribbing part, and I call that space instead. Okay, to start row 1 on the sleeve, we chain 1, never count as a stitch. Row 1 is the right side, for an odd number row is the right side. Then we're gonna make 2 half double crochet into each space across. So yeah, after I chain 1, I'm gonna make 2 half double crochet into the first space here, right here. So I yarn over hook, insert the hook into the first space, and make half double crochet, and then make 1 more half double crochet into the same space. Next space is gonna be right here. Make 2 half double crochet, and then 1 more into the same space, and then 2 half double crochet into the next space right here. Okay, let me show you real quick. So you see this line is have 2 rows in there, and it should be 2 spaces. So this one right here, and the next space should be right there. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So yeah, I'm gonna make 2 half double crochet into the next space right here. Two half double crochet into the next space, two half double crochet into the next space, and here's what it looks like so far. Keep making 2 half double crochet into each space across, and I will be back when I'm at the end of row 1. Last space right here. I'm at the end of row 1 for my sleeve, and I have a total of 60 half double crochet stitches across. Row 2, chain 1 and turn, or you can turn first and chain, doesn't matter. And then we're gonna make half double crochet into each stitch across. So I make half double crochet into the first stitch here, half double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next, half double crochet into the next. Keep making half double crochet into each stitch across. At the end of row 2, I have the same 60 stitches across. It looks kind of weird right now, but as you keep going, it'll look better. Alright, row 3 to row 39, I'm gonna repeat row 2. And every row, I should have the same amount of these stitches, which is 60 stitches. I'm gonna show you a little bit on row 3. We chain 1 and turn. The chain 1 never count as a stitch. Then we're gonna make half double crochet into each stitch across. Just repeat row 2. From now on, it's just gonna be very easy pattern. Just make half double crochet into each stitch across. Alright, I'm gonna keep repeating row 2 until I reach the end of row 39, and then I will be back. If you want shorter sleeve, make less row. If you want longer sleeve, make more rows. Just repeat row 2. Alright, I will be back soon. I'm at the end of row 39. Next, you're gonna cut the yarn. I cut the yarn and leave about 30 to 40 inches long tail. We're gonna use this tail to sew the sleeve into the main panel, this way. Okay, and then after that, I pull my yarn out and I'm done with the sleeve. You need to make 2 sleeves exactly the same. Leave a long tail exactly the same. And after you have 1 back panel, 2 front panels, and 2 sleeve panels, come back and I will show you how to sew everything together. Okay, next we're gonna sew the back panel into the 2 front panels at the shoulder seam. Alright, I'm gonna show you in this paper real quick. So this is the back panel. This is the front panel. I already went ahead and sewed 1 shoulder here, which is this one right here. And here is another front panel, which is this one that I'm going to show you how to sew. Okay, we place them wrong side up and we're gonna sew on the wrong side using the tail that we left earlier to sew. Alright. So my front panel, I have 37 stitches. I place my stitch marker into the back panel, 37 stitches. So we're gonna sew them together. Alright. You can use any method you prefer to sew. I'm just gonna use my yarn needle and sew. I'm gonna remove the stitch marker and then insert my needle into the first stitch on the back panel, both loops. Bring it up. Then I'm gonna insert into the first stitch on the front panel and then first stitch on the back panel 1 more time. Okay, and then I move to the next stitch, both loops. Next stitch on the back panel, both loops. Bring it up. Don't sew too tight or too loose. So I insert into the next stitch here and the next stitch there. Both loops. Bring it up. Next stitch here, next stitch there. Next stitch here and next stitch there. Alright, this is what I'm gonna sew back and forth until I reach the stitch marker, which is 37 stitches. Okay, now I sew to the stitch marker, which is 37 stitches. And next, I'm gonna weave the end. I will do that later. Both shoulders sew exactly the same. Next, we're gonna sew the sleeve into the main panel. To do that, you need to place all panels wrong side facing up and we're gonna sew on the wrong side. I wanna show you in this paper real quick because the real project is kinda big, difficult to understand. So yeah, this is the back panel, which is this one. This is the front panel, which is this one right here. And this is another front panel, which is this one. So we already sewn the shoulder seam. And this is the sleeve, which is this one over there. I'll show you in a minute. And this is another sleeve, which is this one. Okay, so all panels, wrong side facing up. I went ahead and sew 1 sleeve right here. And I will show you how to sew on the sleeve. And when you place the stitch marker, make sure that in the middle of the sleeve panel is right at the shoulder seam and even on both sides. That's all important. Okay. We're gonna use the tail that we left earlier on the sleeve to sew with the yarn needle, and you can use any method you prefer to sew. Let's start sew. I'm gonna remove the stitch marker and remember that stitch right here. Insert the needle there. Oops. And then insert into the same stitch 1 more time just to lock the yarn. Then I insert into the next stitch here on the sleeve panel and then next stitch there at the front panel. When we sew into the front and the back panel, it's a little difficult to see where we're gonna insert the needle into because we sew into the end of each row, not the real stitch. You can guess where you're gonna insert the needle into. But just make sure that it's nice and even and lining up. Don't sew too tight or too loose. Just take your time, check as you go. Okay, next stitch here. I'm gonna go in that stitch right there. Bring it up. Go slowly. Next stitch here. And next stitch there. Next stitch here. Next stitch there. Next stitch here. Next stitch right here. Okay, I'm gonna keep sewing all the way to the end and I will be back. Just take your time. Okay, I sew to the end here and next I just gonna weave the end and I will do that later. Both sides sew exactly the same. Next, we're gonna sew the cardigan together. To sew the cardigan together, you need to fold the cardigan in half at the shoulder seam. Right here. Like this. Fold the right side facing each other, the wrong side out, because we're gonna sew on the wrong side. We're gonna start sew at the bottom here, all the way up until we reach the armpit and continue sew the sleeve all the way down till the end. I went ahead and sew one side. Right here, this is the wrong side. Here's the armpit, and then here is the sleeve side seam all the way down to the end. And I will show you how to sew on this side. See, I placed right side facing each other. So I'm gonna turn this way. To start sew, you need to cut a new strand of yarn about 70 to 80 inches long. Make sure that you have enough yarn to sew the side seam and in the sleeve. Okay. So I insert the new strand of yarn into the yarn needle, ready to go. So I insert my needle into the corner, the first stitch on the front panel, and in the corner of the back panel there, and then pull it up. Leave a little bit of tail, enough to weaving the end later. Then I'm gonna sew into the same stitch one more time, just to lock the yarn. We sew into the end of each row of the front and the back panel. It's kind of difficult to see the normal stitches. You kind of guess where you're gonna insert the needle into. But whatever you do, just make sure that both sides are nice and even and lining up. That's all important. And make sure don't sew too tight or too loose. So I'm gonna insert my needle into the next stitch here and the next stitch there. Bring it up. Next stitch here. Next stitch there. Next stitch here. Next stitch there. Next stitch here. And next stitch there. Next stitch here. Next stitch there. Okay, here's what it looks like so far. Okay, I'm gonna keep sewing all the way up until I reach the armpit, and then I'm gonna continue sew the sleeve side seam all the way down until the end. Then weave the end. Okay, good luck and take your time. Okay, I sew the sleeve until the end here, and next I'm gonna weave the end, and I will do that later. And here's what it looks like. And both sides you're gonna sew exactly the same. Next, we're gonna crochet the collar edge. And to do that, you need to turn your cardigan right side out. We're gonna crochet on the right side. Right now, my cardigan is right side out. We're gonna start crochet at the right bottom corner and work our way up and go around the neck and then come back down on the left panel, go all the way down to the left bottom corner. Okay, I got my hook and then new yarn here. I'm gonna insert my hook into the first space. We're gonna crochet into the end of each row for the front panels, so I call that space instead. So yeah, the first space here, I insert my hook there, bring the new yarn, hold it on the back, yarn over hook, pull up a loop, and chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first 3 chains count as 1 double crochet, and the 4th chain there count as 1 chain space. And then make double crochet into the next space, yarn over hook, insert the hook into the next space, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. That is the double crochet. And then chain 1. 1 double crochet into the next space, chain 1. 1 double crochet into the next space, chain 1. 1 double crochet into the next space. Okay, you're just gonna keep repeating this. You're gonna chain 1, 1 double crochet into the next space, like that. Okay, keep repeating all the way up until you reach the shoulder seam here and come back, and I will show you how to crochet around the neck. Okay, now I reach the shoulder seam, and then I'm gonna make 1 double crochet into that shoulder seam without chaining. Okay, so this is the last double crochet that I made into the last space here before the shoulder seam. And next I'm gonna make double crochet into that shoulder seam, and then at the neckline I'm gonna make 1 double crochet into each stitch across the neckline until I reach another shoulder seam. So double crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch. Alright, keep doing that until you reach the other shoulder seam. Okay, I reached the shoulder seam. I'm gonna make 1 double crochet into that shoulder seam. Alright, and then into this left front panel, I'm gonna make a double crochet into the first space after the shoulder seam right here. Okay, and then I'm gonna chain 1. Make 1 double crochet into the next space, chain 1. 1 double crochet into the next space, chain 1. 1 double crochet into the next space. Make exactly the same as the right front panel. Alright, I'm gonna keep repeating this across to the bottom. Okay, here is the last space, but I try to insert my hook right at the corner and then make the last double crochet. And here's what it looks like at the end. And then I'm gonna cut the yarn and weave the end. And I will do that later. This is optional. If you wanna use the button, you can. If you don't want to, you just weave all the ends and you are done. And I placed my button about 3 inches in between. And I placed a total of 5 buttons. And I placed on the left side. This will depend on how you like to place as well. You can place on the right side. You can place more or less button. Totally up to you. So I have 4 buttons sewn. And I will show you how I sew the last one. Sew the same. It's very easy. So about 3 inches. I use a small yarn needle and then the same yarn to sew the button. So I'm gonna insert from the inside here and then insert into the buttonhole. Bring it up. You wanna leave a little bit of tail too. And then I insert my needle into the next hole here. Right here, and then insert into the stitch right here and bring it in. And then I'm gonna bring my yarn closer to each other so I can tie a couple knots to secure. Okay, and then I'm gonna sew into the button one more time. Then I'm gonna tie a couple knots again. Just make sure it's secure. Then I'm gonna weave all the ends. And that's it. Alright. And I'm just gonna weave all the end and I'm done. So you're just gonna use the space on the opposite side to be the buttonhole like this. Right here, like that. Maybe right here. I think it's very cute. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give this video a big thumb up and share this video with your friends. And I would love to see everyone's work. If you want to share with me, just tag me on Facebook or Instagram at KnitCrawAddict. I'm gonna put all the links in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next video. Bye bye.